Chosen one, lock your focus on my voice right now. That heavy pressure in your chest, the one telling you that you have messed up God's plan, silence it. The enemy is screaming at you today for one reason, and one reason only. He knows what happens tomorrow. It all ends tomorrow. The struggle, the confusion, the warfare. But listen closely, because this is critical. It is not ending because of luck. It is ending because of what you have done. Think back to that moment this week when you wanted to scream, when you wanted to give up, but you stayed silent instead. You did not know it then, but that silence was a weapon. That specific moment of restraint was the act that signed the enemy eviction notice. You did not ruin your destiny, you accelerated it. God blocked everything else you were supposed to do today, just to bring you this verdict. So anchor your spirit, because I am going to read the decree that changes everything. You did not find this recording by accident. The algorithm did not bring you here, the Holy Spirit did. This is a divine appointment scheduled before the foundations of the earth. You are standing at a threshold, and I need you to stay until the very last second of this transmission, because in the next few minutes I am going to hand you the legal decree that cancels the enemy assignment against your life. I am going to walk you through the zero compromise audit so you can see exactly where you won the battle, even when you felt like you were losing. And at the end, we will seal this eviction notice with a prayer that locks the door on your past forever. Do not click away. Your future self is begging you to listen, because if you leave now, you might accidentally reopen a door that God has already shut. Let us talk about where you are right now. I know the atmosphere has felt strange for the last 72 hours. It is not just quiet, it is heavy. It feels like the air before a thunderstorm. Maybe you were sitting in your car yesterday, staring at the steering wheel, unable to turn the key, feeling a wave of exhaustion so deep it felt like it was in your bones. Or maybe you woke up at 3 in the morning this week with your heart racing, scanning the darkness of your bedroom, feeling like something was wrong, but you could not put your finger on it. You feel suspended, like you are floating in a void between the life you had and the life you were promised. And in this void, the enemy has started whispering a very specific lie to you. Listen to your thoughts. He is telling you that the reason everything feels stalled is because of something you did. He is replaying that moment from last week over and over in your mind. That moment when you walked away from that person. That moment when you refused to help because you were too tired. That moment when you just stopped trying. The accuser is telling you that was failure. He is telling you that because of that moment you have disqualified yourself and the blessing has been delayed. But I need you to hear what the scripture actually says about this moment. Look at Nahum chapter 1 verse 9. It says, "What do you conspire against the Lord? He will make an utter end of it. Affliction shall not rise up the second time." Listen to that promise. Affliction shall not rise up the second time. The Hebrew word for utter end here means a complete extermination, a total finishing. God is saying that the battle you are fighting right now does not have permission to repeat itself. The enemy is trying to trick you into thinking this is a cycle. He wants you to believe that because of your actions, you have reset the clock and you have to do this lap around the wilderness again. But that is a deception. You are not in a cycle, you are in a conclusion. The heaviness you feel is not the weight of punishment, it is the weight of finality. It is the tension of a cord being pulled to its breaking point right before it snaps. You think that moment when you walked away was weakness. You think your silence was defeat. You think your refusal to engage was apathy. But let me reframe your reality right now. That was not a mistake. That was a strategy. That act of doing absolutely nothing was actually the most violent act of spiritual warfare you have ever committed, and let me explain to you exactly why that is. You see, the world tells you that progress looks like motion. It tells you that if you are not running, striving, or fixing, then you are failing. But in the kingdom, spiritual progress often looks like absolute stillness in the face of chaos. What you interpreted as giving up was actually something I call holy refusal. Holy refusal is when you stop feeding the enemy the reaction he is desperate for. You see, the enemy cannot create energy, he can only steal yours. He throws a crisis at you, hoping you will panic. He sends a toxic person your way, hoping you will argue. He delays your blessing, hoping you will strive. When you react, you sign his contract. You agree to play his game on his terms. But the moment you stopped, the moment you went silent and refused to engage, you did not quit the battle, you starved the enemy. I need you to understand that this is not just a nice theory, this is a biblical mandate that has been mistranslated in your mind for years. We need to look at Ephesians chapter 6 verse 13. You have heard it 1,000 times. It says, "And having done all to stand, just stand." In English that sounds passive. It sounds like loitering. It sounds like you are just waiting around for God to show up while you do nothing. But that is because the English translation misses the violence of the original language. The Greek word used there for stand is histemi. Listen to the power of that word. Histemi. It does not mean to hang around. It is a military term that means to hold a critical position while under heavy fire without giving an inch of ground. It means to establish a fortress that cannot be moved. When a soldier engages in histemi, he is not relaxing. Every muscle is locked. Every sense is alert. He is exerting a massive amount of force just to remain in place against the pressure trying to push him back. So look at your last few days through this lens. When that fear tried to push you into panic and you chose to just sit there and breathe, that was histemi. When that person tried to bait you into an argument to steal your peace and you chose to put the phone down and say nothing, that was not weakness, that was histemi. You were holding the line. You were establishing your spiritual authority by refusing to be moved by the visible circumstances. You were enacting holy refusal. And because you held that position, the enemy is now out of ammunition. He threw his best shot at you, hoping you would move, and you stood. That is why the atmosphere is shifting. You passed the test not by conquering a city, but by refusing to surrender your peace. Now we are going to apply this. We are going to prove to your logical mind that you have already won this battle. We are going to perform what I call the zero compromise audit. I do not want you to move your body, but I want you to move your memory. I want you to turn your internal gaze backward and scan the last 72 hours of your life. We are going to find the evidence of your victory. Visualize your timeline from 3 days ago until this exact moment. I want you to pinpoint the exact moment when the pressure was the highest. Maybe it was a text message you received. Maybe it was a sudden bill. Maybe it was a wave of depression. Find that moment in your mind. See it clearly. Now, look at what you almost did. You almost sent that angry reply, didn't you? You almost called that person you know you should not call. You almost made a decision out of fear. But then look at what you actually did. You stopped. Maybe you just went to sleep. Maybe you stared at the wall. Maybe you cried. But you did not compromise. You did not sign the agreement with the enemy. In that gap between the urge to react and the choice to stand still lies your victory. That gap is the holy refusal. I want you to mentally take a red stamp in your mind right now. Visualize it. This stamp says void. In your imagination, I want you to bring up the contract. The enemy tried to get you to sign this week the contract of fear, the contract of striving, the contract of returning to your past. See that contract clearly. Now, Take that red stamp and in your mind, slam it down on that paper. Void. Because you did not react, the contract is null and void. You kept your compromise at zero, and because of that, the enemy has no legal right to touch your next season. You might be thinking that this sounds too simple. You might be thinking that simply not reacting cannot possibly be the key to a massive breakthrough. You might be thinking that you need to do something more active to earn this ending. I understand that doubt. It is human to want to earn your freedom, but you need to see what this looks like in the real world when the stakes are life and death, because theory is nice, but you need evidence. Let me tell you about a man who applied this exact protocol of holy refusal when he had nothing left but $12 and a mountain of debt. And let me show you exactly what happened to his reality. Just 72 hours after he refused to sign the enemy contract, this man was sitting in the parking lot of a grocery store, staring at his banking app on a phone with a cracked screen. He had exactly $12.43 to his name. He had bills due that night. And right at that moment of desperation, his phone buzzed. It was a message from an old business associate offering him a quick job. It was fast money. It was enough money to clear his immediate debt. But there was a catch. The job required him to bend the truth. It required him to cut a corner ethically. It was a gray area. In that moment, his thumb hovered over the reply button. He could feel the sweat on his palms gripping the steering wheel. His logical mind was screaming at him to take it. His survival instinct was yelling that he had no choice, but his spirit felt a check, a heavy knot in his stomach. He knew this was the enemy offering him a counterfeit solution to a God-given problem. So he did the unthinkable. He locked his phone. He did not type a polite refusal. He did not negotiate. He simply deleted the message, threw the phone onto the passenger seat, and sat there in the silence. He drove home with $12. He went to bed hungry. He felt like a failure. But in the spirit realm, alarms were ringing because he had just passed the Daniel test. We need to understand the legal precedent for what he did, because it is the exact same legal precedent you just set in your own life. Look at the pattern in the book of Daniel, chapter 1. Daniel is a captive in Babylon. The king offers him meat and wine. This is the best food in the world. It is survival. It is favor. But Daniel knows that to eat it would be to compromise his covenant with God. So he purposed in his heart not to defile himself. He chose vegetables and water. He chose the lesser thing in the natural to keep the greater thing in the spiritual. And look at the timeline. It says he was tested for 10 days, and at the end of those 10 days, he was found 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers in the realm. Do you see the pattern? The refusal came first. The testing period came second. The promotion came third. You cannot have the promotion without the refusal. The reason your suffering is ending tomorrow is because you have already completed the refusal phase. You looked at the king meat, you looked at the compromise, you looked at the easy way out, and you said no. Now go back to that man in the car. He went home thinking he had lost an opportunity. But exactly 72 hours later, he turned on the news. That business associate who offered him the quick money had been arrested for fraud. The entire operation was shut down. If he had said yes, he would have been swept up in that destruction. But because he stood in holy refusal, he was protected. And that very afternoon, he received a legitimate contract from a source he had not spoken to in years. A contract that was clean. A contract that was 10 times the amount of the quick money. You need to realize that what you did this week was not inactivity. You were dodging a bullet. By staying silent, by refusing to force doors open, by waiting on God, you avoided a trap that would have cost you years of your life. You passed the Daniel test. You refused the king meat. And because of that, the legal time of testing has expired. The 10 days are up. The verdict is in. But listen to me very carefully, because we are approaching the most dangerous part of this transition. The enemy knows you passed. He knows he can no longer bait you with compromise. He knows the contract of suffering is void. So he is changing his strategy right now. He is no longer trying to stop you. He is doing something far more sinister. He is trying to evict you. There is a specific psychological attack coming your way in the next few hours, designed to make you walk away from the blessing you just qualified for, and you need to know exactly what it looks like before it hits you. I need to perform a surgery on your soul right now because there is a secret fear living inside you that you have not told anyone about. It is the real reason this transition feels so violent. You say you want the struggle to end. You pray for the breakthrough. You fast for the peace. But if we are being completely honest, there is a part of you that is terrified of the war ending. You have been in the trenches for so long that you have forgotten how to be a civilian. You have been fighting for your sanity, your finances, and your family for so many years that survival mode has become your personality. Ask yourself the hard question. Who are you without the struggle? Who are you when you do not have a crisis to fix? Who are you when you do not have an enemy to fight? That thought scares you, doesn't it? Peace feels suspicious to you. When things get quiet, your nervous system does not relax, it panics. You think the silence is just the calm before another storm. You are waiting for the other shoe to drop. You have become addicted to the cortisol of the battle. And right now, as you stand on the edge of this new season, your spirit is trying to cross over, but your flesh is trying to pull you back into the pain because the pain is familiar and the freedom is unknown. This is exactly what happened in the book of Exodus. We often miss the psychology of the Red Sea moment. We think the Israelites were just afraid of Pharaoh's army behind them. But look at what they screamed at Moses. They said, trembling in their voices, "Why did you bring us out here to die? Were there not enough graves in Egypt?" Listen to that. They were literally begging to go back to slavery. Why? Because in Egypt they knew the rules. They knew who they were, even if they were slaves. But out there in the wilderness, facing the freedom of the promised land, they had an identity crisis. They preferred the familiar hell over the unfamiliar heaven. You are standing at your Red Sea right now. The enemy army is behind you, and the waters are parting before you. And the panic you feel today is not because you are about to lose. It is because you are about to be free, and you do not know how to operate in freedom yet. The enemy knows this. He knows he cannot legally touch you anymore because you passed the Daniel test. He knows the contract is void. He knows the blessing has been released and the angels have been dispatched. So here is the twist that changes everything about how you see this week. The enemy is no longer attacking you to stop you. He is attacking you to evict you. There is a massive difference. To stop you means he has the power to block your blessing. He does not. That power was broken when you stood in holy refusal. But to evict you means he has to trick you into voluntarily walking out of the house that God has already given you. Imagine you have just been handed the deed and the keys to a mansion. It is legally yours. The enemy cannot break down the door. He cannot pick the lock. He cannot steal the deed. So, what does he do? He stands on the front lawn and he screams. He throws rocks at the windows. He sets off the fire alarm. He creates so much noise and so much chaos and so much fear that you get overwhelmed and you run out the front door back to your old shack just to make the noise stop. That is what is happening in your spirit right now. This anxiety is not a sign that things are going wrong. It is the fire alarm the enemy is pulling to get you to evacuate your position. He wants you to self-sabotage. He wants you to say, "I can't take this anymore," and quit right when the ink is drying on your victory. He wants you to forfeit the blessing because you are too uncomfortable to sit in it. He is banking on your addiction to the struggle. He is betting that you will choose the familiar pain of the past over the uncomfortable pressure of the promotion. But you are not going to take that bait. You are going to stay in the house. You are going to let him scream on the lawn while you sit at the table God has prepared for you. Because now that you know his strategy is eviction, you can prepare for his tactics. Since his goal is to make you leave, he is going to use 7 specific psychological triggers to force you out. I call them the 7 last gasps of the enemy. These are the final desperate attempts of a defeated foe to trick you into surrendering a battle you have already won. You have already felt the first 2 of them this morning. I am going to name them right now so that when they hit you in the next few hours, you will not panic, you will just laugh. These are not random bad days. These are calculated strikes. I call them the 7 last gasps. Think about a predator that has been cornered. It knows it is defeated. It knows the end is inevitable. But in those final moments before it expires, it will thrash and bite more violently than ever before. That is what is happening to you right now. The enemy knows he has lost the war for your soul, so he is trying to win the battle for your attention. He wants you to look at the storm instead of the Savior. He wants you to focus on the noise instead of the victory. But we are going to expose his playbook right now. We are going to shine a light on these traps so that when they spring up, you do not fall into them. You simply step over them. The first gasp is what I call the recall. Within 24 hours of your spiritual breakthrough, a ghost from your past will try to manifest in your present. It happens like clockwork. You make a decision to move forward, and suddenly your phone buzzes. It is an ex you haven't heard from in months. It is a toxic friend just checking in. It is a family member who only calls to bring drama. Or sometimes it is just a vivid memory of a past failure that hits you out of nowhere and paralyzes you with shame. Why does he do this? He wants to see if you are still emotionally tethered to Egypt. He wants to see if you will open the door to the familiar pain. He is checking the lock to see if he still has a key to your emotions. Your response must be absolute silence. Do not reply. Do not explain. Do not even entertain the thought. Delete the text. Banish the memory. Prove to the spiritual realm that the old you is dead and the new you does not speak the language of the past. The second gasp is the phantom pain. You might wake up feeling a sudden heaviness in your body, a headache that has no medical reason, a wave of exhaustion that hits you at noon and makes you want to crawl back into bed. You might feel physically sick even though you were fine yesterday. You think something is wrong with your health. You think you are weak. No, this is somatic interference. The enemy is attacking your vessel because he cannot touch your spirit. He wants you to lie down in defeat. He wants you to say, "I am too tired to handle the blessing." Do not accept that diagnosis. Do not claim that sickness. In your mind right now, I want you to visualize that heaviness as a dark cloud hovering over your skin. Now mentally blow it away. Command your body to align with the victory in your spirit. This pain is not real. It is a shadow, and shadows cannot hurt you unless you believe in them. The third gasp is the financial scare. This is the most common trap, and it catches so many chosen ones off guard. Right before a massive financial release, a sudden, unexpected expense will show up. Your car breaks down. A forgotten bill arrives in the mail. A fee hits your bank account that you did not expect. The timing is always precise. It happens exactly when you decide to trust God with your finances. Why? Because the enemy wants to induce a poverty mindset. He wants you to panic. He wants you to clench your hands in fear of lack right before God pours abundance into them. And if you clench your hands in fear, you cannot receive the overflow. See this bill for what it is. It is a distraction. It is a bluff. Do not let your heart rate spike. Look at that expense and mentally label it as paid. It is just the enemy trying to tax a blessing he cannot stop. These first three traps are external. They are annoying, but they are easy to spot once you know the playbook. They are just noise. But the next four traps are much more dangerous because they are internal. They do not attack your wallet or your phone. They attack your subconscious mind. They hit you when you are asleep and defenseless. Specifically, the fourth trap is something that happened to you last night, and you probably dismissed it as just a bad dream, but it was actually a spiritual invasion designed to plant a seed of doubt in your spirit before you woke up. The fourth gasp is the dream attack. This happened to many of you last night. You went to bed feeling hopeful, but you had vivid, chaotic dreams. Maybe you dreamt you were lost in a maze, or you were back in a house you lived in 10 years ago, or you were being chased by something you could not see. You woke up feeling drained instead of rested. You woke up with a heavy cloud of confusion hovering over your mind. This is strategic. The enemy knows he cannot get to you when you are awake and guarding your thoughts, so he tries to invade your subconscious while you sleep. He wants to plant a seed of fear before your feet even hit the floor. Do not analyze these dreams. Do not Google their meaning. They are spiritual spam. In your mind right now, I want you to visualize a delete button. See those confusing images from last night and mentally press delete. They have no authority over your day. The fifth gasp is the isolation pressure. In the next few hours, you are going to feel intensely lonely. You will look at your friends, your family, even your spouse, and you will feel like you are speaking a different language. You will feel a desperate urge to explain yourself, to make them understand what you are going through. Do not do it. This is a trap. The enemy wants you to cast your pearls before swine. He wants you to leak your spiritual energy, trying to validate yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Embrace the isolation. It is not rejection, it is protection. You are in the cocoon phase of the transformation, and a cocoon only has room for one. The sixth gasp is the imposter syndrome. This is the voice that will whisper, "Who do you think you are to receive this blessing?" It will remind you of your past mistakes. It will bring up your lack of qualifications. It will tell you that you are a fraud and that everyone is going to find out. This trap is designed to make you decline the invitation to the next level. Recognize it for what it is. It is a lie. You are not qualified by your perfection, you are qualified by your calling. And the seventh and final gasp is the most dangerous one of all. It is the premature celebration. The enemy will throw a small counterfeit victory your way, hoping you will settle for it. He will send a small amount of money or a half-open door, hoping you will stop pushing for the full breakthrough. He wants you to park on the beach when you are meant to take the mountain. Do not celebrate the crumb when God has promised you the bakery. Acknowledge the small win, but keep your eyes locked on the horizon. Now you have the full playbook. You can see the traps on the board. But knowing what not to do is only half the battle. You need to know exactly what to do in these final critical hours. You are in a transition zone right now. Think of it like a spaceship moving from the vacuum of space into the atmosphere of a new planet. You need to go through an airlock chamber to pressurize your vessel so you do not explode upon entry. I am going to give you the 24-hour airlock protocol. This is your operating system for the next day. It consists of 3 internal actions you must take to stabilize your spirit. Step 1 is the mental cleanse. The scripture in Isaiah chapter 43 says, "Do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing." We quote this often, but we miss the instruction. You cannot perceive the new thing if your mind is cluttered with the old things. The Hebrew word for perceive there is yada, which means to intimately know and experience. You cannot experience the victory of tomorrow if you are mentally replaying the defeats of yesterday. Right now, in your imagination, I want you to walk through the hallways of your mind. See the pictures of your past failures hanging on the walls. See the memories of who hurt you. In your mind, take them down one by one. Leave the walls bare. You are clearing space for the new furniture God is shipping to you. Step 2 is radio silence. For the next 24 hours, I want you to go on a verbal fast regarding your problems. Do not complain. Do not vent. Do not rehash the struggle with your best friend. Your words are coordinates. Every time you speak about the problem, you are sending a GPS signal to the enemy, telling him exactly where you are. Go dark. Disappear from the radar of negativity. Let your silence be the loudest thing about you. Step 3 is the seed of expectation. You cannot enter a new season empty-handed. You need to sow a seed of faith to bridge the gap between where you are and where you are going. This does not have to be money. It can be an act of kindness. It can be a prayer for someone else. It can be forgiving a debt someone owes you. Do something today that the future version of you would do. Act like you are already in the blessing. This signals to the spiritual realm that you trust the transition. You have the traps identified. You have the airlock protocol activated. Now, I want you to look at the clock, or just feel the time of day. The timeline is shifting beneath your feet. The atmosphere is thinning. We are approaching the final crossover point. Let me show you exactly what is going to happen by this time tomorrow, because the prophetic picture I see for you is not just a change of circumstances, it is a complete rewrite of your reality. Let me anchor this in reality for you, because I know your logical mind is fighting to believe that a simple shift in behavior can truly end a season of suffering that has lasted for years. You are wondering how silence can possibly break a curse. I want to tell you about a woman who sat at a family dinner table just a few months ago. She was the black sheep of her family. Every time they gathered, she was the target. They mocked her faith. They questioned her career choices. They belittled her dreams. For years, her response was always the same. She would fight back. She would defend herself. She would cry. She would leave the table in a rage. And every single time, the enemy won because he stole her peace and lowered her frequency. But this time, she had received the revelation of the airlock protocol. She sat at that table, and the insults started flying. Her brother made a snide comment about her financial situation, asking when she was finally going to get a real job. Her mother critiqued her life choices, implying she was behind in life compared to her cousins. In the past, she would have snapped. Her heart was racing. She gripped her fork so hard her knuckles turned white. She wanted to scream. She wanted to throw the facts in their faces. But she remembered the protocol. She remembered that her words were coordinates for the enemy. So she did something radical. She stayed completely silent. She did not defend herself. She did not storm out. She just took a bite of food, chewed slowly, and internally blessed them. She visualized herself behind a thick glass wall where their words could hit the glass but could not touch her spirit. The result was terrifying at first. The silence at the table grew awkward. They tried harder to provoke her because her lack of reaction confused their demons. But because she gave them no fuel, the fire eventually burned out. The dinner ended. She went home feeling like she had swallowed a rock, but she had kept her peace. She thought nothing had changed. She thought she had just endured another painful night. But the very next morning, by that time the next day, her phone rang. It was her brother, the one who mocked her the most. He was crying. He said, "I do not know what happened last night, but when I looked at you I felt ashamed. I saw a strength in you I have never seen before." And right there on the phone he offered to pay off her credit card debt. That is the power of the transition you are in. When you change your response, you change your timeline. By this time tomorrow, you are going to see the fruit of your holy refusal. I want you to look at the vision in Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come." The word tarry here is the Hebrew word maha. It does not mean to be late. It means to question or to hesitate. It implies that there is a period where it looks like God is hesitating, where it looks like the promise is questioning your worthiness. That is the airlock phase. That is the silence you are in right now. But the verse promises that at the end it shall speak. I want to paint a picture of your tomorrow. I want you to live in this future memory for a moment. By this time tomorrow the silence will break. The answer you have been waiting for will speak. The situation that has been lying to you, telling you that you are a failure, will be exposed as a fraud. You are going to wake up, and that heavy blanket of anxiety that has been suffocating you for weeks will be gone. You will take a deep breath, and it will go all the way to the bottom of your lungs for the first time in months. The knot in your stomach will be untied. You will look at your phone and you won't feel dread, you will feel expectancy. You will look in the mirror and you won't see a victim. You will see a veteran who survived the war. The war is over. The soldiers are going home. And you are left standing in the field, not as a prisoner, but as a conqueror, holding the spoils of the battle. But we cannot just hope for this, we must seal it. We must take this legal decree we have drafted over the last few minutes, and we must stamp it in the courts of heaven. We are moving now from the classroom to the courtroom. I need you to shift your posture because your body language speaks to your spirit. If you are in a place where you can do so safely, I want you to physically stand up right now. Do not just sit there passive. Stand up. If you are driving, grip the steering wheel with a new authority. If you are lying down, sit up on the edge of your bed. We are about to enter the presence of the King. You do not enter the King court slouching. You do not enter defeated. You enter with your head high, knowing who your Father is. Put your hand over your heart. Feel that rhythm. That is the drumbeat of a warrior who survived the night. Close your eyes to the physical room around you and open your spiritual eyes. Visualize a courtroom. See the accuser standing there with his list of your failures. See the lies he has told you about your identity. And now look to the bench. See the judge slamming the gavel down. The court is in session. The verdict is ready to be read. We are about to close this chapter of your life forever. Do not lower your hands. Keep them on your heart. Keep standing. I know your legs might feel weak. I know your mind is telling you this is foolish. I know there is a voice screaming at you to sit down and check your notifications. That is the resistance of the old season trying to pull you back into gravity. But you are currently breaking the gravitational pull of your past. We are not just praying right now. We are ascending. We are stepping out of the dimension of time and space, and we are stepping into the dimension of authority. I need you to visualize the room you are standing in right now. In the natural, it looks the same. You see the same walls, You see the same furniture, but in the spirit the roof has been peeled back. There is a pillar of fire connecting where you stand straight to the throne room. You are no longer in your bedroom. You are no longer in your car. You are standing on holy ground. The atmosphere around you is thickening. If you feel heat in your hands, that is real. If you feel a tingling on the back of your neck, that is the atmosphere shifting. The angels that have been assigned to your case are stepping closer. I speak to the spirit of heaviness that has been sitting on your chest for the last 40 days. I know you are there. I know you have been suffocating this chosen one, making them feel like they are drowning in dry land. But your time is up. In the name that is above every name, I command the spirit of heaviness to loose its grip right now. Exhale. I want you to literally blow the air out of your lungs. Push it out. That heaviness is leaving. It cannot stay in the presence of the King. I speak to the spirit of confusion that has been clouding your mind, making you doubt your own sanity. The one that wakes you up at 3 in the morning with racing thoughts. We serve you an eviction notice right now. Clear out. Get out of their mind. Get out of their dreams. Get out of their nervous system. Peace is returning to this vessel. Chosen one, feel your feet on the ground. You are rooted. You are grounded. You are not a leaf blowing in the wind anymore. You are a tree planted by the water. The storm can scream, but it cannot move you. We are now standing before the judge. The court is full. The cloud of witnesses is watching. These are the ones who went before you, the ones who kept the faith. They are leaning over the balcony of heaven right now, cheering you on, because they know that your victory is part of their legacy. The accuser is here too. He is standing to your left. He is holding the file of your mistakes. He is holding the record of the time you fell, the time you doubted, the time you got angry. He is ready to read the charges. He wants to argue that you do not deserve the breakthrough ending tomorrow. He wants to argue that you are disqualified by your past. But we have a silencer. We have an advocate who steps forward. He places his hand on your shoulder. Feel the weight of that hand. It is not heavy. It is warm. He looks at the judge and he points to the blood on the mercy seat. He says, "This one is mine. The debt has been paid." The file the accuser is holding is outdated. It was cancelled at the cross, and it was ratified by the holy refusal of this chosen one this week. The judge is nodding. The gavel is raised. The atmosphere is ready for the decree. We are not asking God to do something He has already done. We are agreeing with what has already been written. We are about to open your mouth and speak the legal language that dismantles the enemy infrastructure in your life. I want you to speak this out loud if you can, or scream it in your spirit. We are going to address every trap, every lie, and every chain, one by one, and we are going to watch them shatter in real time. Now that the atmosphere is cleared, we move to the dismantling. We are going to go down the list of the 7 last gasps that the enemy tried to use against you this week, and we are going to break their legal right to exist in your future. Open your mouth and agree with me. If you cannot speak loud, whisper it. If you cannot whisper, scream it in your mind. I address the first trap, the recall. To every spirit of the past, every ex-lover, every toxic friend, and every old failure that tried to resurface in the last 24 hours to drag this chosen one back to Egypt. I serve you a restraining order right now. You have no jurisdiction here. The version of them that you knew is dead. I sever every soul tie. I burn every bridge you are trying to rebuild. I declare that the door to the past is shut and sealed with the blood, and you lost the key. I address the second trap, the phantom pain. To the somatic attacks on this body, to the heaviness, to the headaches, to the sudden exhaustion, I command you to loose your hold. This body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, not a dumping ground for demonic stress. I command the nervous system to regulate. I command the cortisol to drop. I speak vitality and strength into these bones. The weariness is illegal. We return